Well, first of all, I think educational institutions need a big budget for this, because they need to buy this kind of stuff. I mean, not only the virtual classes, but also some kind of software for specific uses.
Also, making this technology accessible for most people now seems complex, right? Because of the money involved and also the necessary infrastructure that you require to make this succeed. Some centers that we just came from Africa, right? And we had like people having some pens, some balls, and some pieces of paper, right? So that I also see it as a topic that needs to get addressed in regards to accessibility of resources.
We have already done some tests and some events, and it all depends on how much bandwidth you have at the school. It depends on the onboarding process. It depends if you have even the physical space to distribute the classes in a good way. So I think we are a bit far from really using it at the schools, at least for primary education. I might say that for secondary education, I see more possibilities. Specifically, if we go into VR that is specialized for some content. And I always like to have some perspective of inclusion and so on, and specifically from the autistic perspective. They have recreated these spaces that are clean. There is no people, there is no noise, there is just cleanness. You go to that place and you can actually visit it. This in terms of all the inputs that people with autism actually get and that make them feel very overwhelmed could be beneficial. So they would reduce all those inputs, all that overstimulation, and actually be able to do things that normally they cannot do, or even get trained little by little to a bit more stimulation.
I think it also would need a lot of setting up the first time you do it, and even if you become a bit of an expert as a teacher, it's always new for the students, the new students that you get. So I think that would be one of the drawbacks, that it costs a lot of management time just to get everyone used to the technology and how it works. But if someone would take the time to really write some real life scenarios that then could be tested and used, I think that would be nice, and that would help teachers or coordinators or whoever works at the school to start using it.
I think that one of the possibilities is going to the space of digital skills, actually. So making that this technology more accessible for learning, actually. So not as the learning experience as a space that you use, but actually more into let's become digital literate in a way that we can be creators of this technology. So this technology needs to be more accessible also to us, to be potential creators.
This is at this point in time not as accessible, but I do believe, and I align with your argument, that beyond the costs there are actually barriers that are much harder to tackle, and that's the knowledge gap on digital skills. And I do believe that there are a lot of initiatives that take away that first barrier of the costs. You can lend the devices, you can through this project use the devices and do a pilot. So I think the accessibility is sometimes overstated, and we need to double down on skilling teachers and students and then allowing them to create their own things.
Yes.